Happy Devils Monday. This is The Woo Report. The Woo Report. Episode 417, coming to you live from the Primetime Radio Studios inside the bunker in beautiful New Jersey in an undisclosed location. Streaming live on Facebook Live, YouTube Live, X Live, and Twitch on the Let's Go Devils Network. Devils looking to shaking up the lines, the pairings. We'll talk a little bit about that. Oh, it's a happy Devils Monday. I know, the loss the other night was kind of, left a bad taste in your mouth. But it's a new week. Jack Hughes may be on the trip and meet the Devils in Pittsburgh. Could he be ready for Devils Rangers on November 18th, this Saturday? Who knows? Not trying to spread rumors or anything, but hey, kind of want to speculate a little bit. By the way, November 18th, Saturday at American Whiskey, we will be there, live on the big stage, weather permitting. The big stage outside of American Whiskey. It's going to be a cold one, folks. A little bit of an outdoor podcast on one of the biggest games of the season. Devils Rangers. Rangers are in first place. Lafreniere, I don't care, suddenly is on a tear. Could be interesting what happens this Saturday, November 18th. We'll be there at American Whiskey serving and crew brew. Join our crew and drink and crew brew. Anyway, moving on. So the Devils shake up the lines of practice. I know it's practice, but it's noteworthy. Manestein tweeted this out. The first line, Meyer, McLeod, Bratt, Michael McLeod centering the first line. Second line, Dawson Mercer, Toffoli, and Holtz. Alexander Holtz moving into the top six. Third line, Haula, Palat, Lazard. Not a bad third line. And the fourth line, Tierney, Bastian on the right wing, and Tomas Nosek on the left wing. But how about these pairings? Luke Hughes and Dougie Hamilton. Siegenthaler, Marino. Ball and Smith. Colin Miller looking to crack into the lineup. And obviously, Max Willman in the mix, trying to get in a spot. Vitek Vanacek and Akira Schmid are your goaltenders. So, Lindy Ruff is trying to shake it up a little bit. See what works. It's a different team without Jack Hughes and Nico Hischier. I'm a little concerned about Nico Hischier because you don't hear too many things about him. Jack Hughes, you kind of have somewhat of a timeline. Nico Hischier, it's whenever he feels better. Doesn't sound too good. Again, don't want to speculate, but the optics don't look good as the Devils are trying to shake it up, get out of their funk. And the players know it. They have to play well. They have to play well if they want to compete in the Metropolitan Division. The Rangers are in first place. Yes, I know it's a Peter Laviolette team where, the message comes on strong in the beginning and then it suddenly fades away. Tom says Wu broke out of jail. Not sure what he's talking about. Maybe it's a Scotty reference. Max, don't like two offensive guys on one line. Anything happens in the O-zone, we are screwed. Max says Nemec had a 4-point game over the weekend. But I'll tell you, Devils better get their acts together because right now it's a very competitive Metropolitan Division. Tom says I was all on lockdown on the Sunday pod. No, I was actually still exhausted from Friday and the Ann Crew Brew debut. And want to thank all those partaking in the debut of Ann Crew Brew as we're making more cans, more fans. That's what I say. Join our crew. Have an Ann Crew Brew. Anyway, Friday was a good night. Besides the L, yeah. Well, Max, glad that your jersey's okay. Glad it's okay after you washed it. But getting back to the Devils, looking to shake things up. And Alexander Holtz, what are your thoughts about Alexander Holtz? Last time I checked, he has outscoring in terms of goals against Alexander Ovechkin so far this season. But Alexander Holtz, Lindy Ruff seems to be hard on him a lot, but he just doesn't want Alexander Holtz to be a liability on defense. He wants Alexander Holtz to be more consistent. And if you're not consistent or you're, dogging it out there, you're going to get benched. You're not going to get any playing time. Max is putting out disclaimers on the YouTube Live. So that's what Lindy Ruff wants. And then, some of the fans, and I know we had this discussion on the State of Fan Address about Lindy's job. I mean, Lindy Ruff just got a contract extension. He's not going anywhere for a while. But he's got to get this team going. Despite the injuries, it's a different team. And I think they need to work on their fundamentals because you can't just outscore your opponents every night. It's not sustainable, especially during the playoffs. The Devils are kind of getting exposed here. And then the other thing, and everyone's talking about beef, like Craig Best in the YouTube Live. Michael Hayes saying Miller's skating. But let's talk about a little bit about beef. Let's talk about the rumors in Calgary of a certain defenseman that would really fit well with the New Jersey Devils. But how is that going to happen with the 3.7 something cap hit? Who do you trade to make it happen? Who do you trade? You need the beef. Teams are clamoring over this one player out of Calgary who requested a trade. And I'm talking about Nikita Zadorov, whatever you want to call him. But he wants to be traded. Will the Devils get in the mix? Do they have assets to trade back? Does any of these teams have a salary cap issue with this? But he stands at 6'6", 248, can level people, can level other players, the opposition. He is big. And Scotty alluded to this. Well, you know what? I think the Devils somewhat are missing Ryan Graves right now. The second of the Twin Towers between Dougie Hamilton and Ryan Graves, but Nikita Zadorov could fit that bill if Tom Fitzgerald can get him for the right price. But what do you have to give for a defenseman like him? Devils need some beef on defense, but also it's the mental game as well. You got to defend your goaltender. You've got to block shots. You got to set the tone, dictate the tone, dictate the pace of the game. It starts with the defense. Tom says too many mental breakdowns. Yes. mental breakdowns is part of the game. And I think the Devils need to fix and address these issues. They will want first for Big Z. It's not going to happen. But you need more beef. And you need to play better defensively. And that's what the Devils need right now, is to play better defense. Offense, they're doing all right. But you could tell that they're missing the two pillars of the franchise, in Heischer and Hughes. But this week is going to be a tough week. You got the New York Rangers on Saturday. We'll be at American Whiskey, trying to do our best as fans to be intimidating. But there's like this nervous atmosphere right now, or this little vibe, nervous vibes. You can tell that's happening right now during pregame, game day live, and Devils After Dark, that, you know, maybe this team is going through a little bit of a rough stretch. But this is there also an opportunity time to shine. Lindy Ruff alluded to this is an opportunity for any forwards to make a mark. Alan says people didn't appreciate Graves as much as until now, I feel. Well, I think Devils fans are a little fickle. Although Devils fans have been complaining about the lack of concession stands open in the upper concourse, which, you know, I'm shocked to hear. You got to feed the fans. And if you're not going to feed the fans, come to American Whiskey. Have some fish and chips. Have some burgers. Have some chicken. Have some salad. But I get hungry at games. I certainly do. And have some Ant Crew Brew, says Ted. Yes. Join our crew and drink some Ant Crew Brew. The official beer of the Let's Go Devils podcast, Ant Crew Brew. You can order it, custom order it, local liquor store in New Jersey. Says, I want Ant Crew Brew. They can look it up, get yourself a case, and have yourself a good time. Ted agrees. He says that the beer is great. And Ted's not really, much of a beer drinker, but he likes his Ant Crew Brew. Chicken fingers, fries. Anyway. But we'll be back tomorrow, Game Day Live. Vinny Parisi and Shorts Guy and myself. Not sure if I'm going to be on, but definitely Devils After Dark after the game. After the Devils take on the Winnipeg Jets, who last season beat them on their home ice. Two evenly matched teams. Let's see how the Devils do. And then on Thursday, they're in Pittsburgh. Take on the Penguins. Will we see Jack Hughes? Will we see Jack Hughes for Devils Rangers? I sure hope so. I sure hope so. But what I want to see is his team playing together and playing better. Better defense. You don't win championships without defense. Steve Angola is talking about an 8 o'clock start tomorrow on MSG Networks. Same with a 7 p.m. start for Devils Penguins. And 7 p.m. will start Devils Rangers. What a wild week we have this upcoming week. Wild week. All right, I want to thank all those tuning in to this podcast. I'll have the podcast in about 20 minutes. Remember to subscribe to our podcast at Let's Go Devils on YouTube, at Let's Go Devils Podcast on Facebook, and on Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it, whatever's your preference, at Let's Go Devils Pod. And I'm going to get out of here. But thank you for tuning in. It's going to be a big night, Devils Rangers. We got the big stage going. In the cold with the winter elements. It was cold this morning, 24 degrees. When I woke up, I don't know what's that in Celsius. Probably really cold in Celsius. But yes. And Max, thank you for that football helmet. Thank you. Thank you. Well, getting out of here. Join our crew and drink some Man Crew brew. Till next time, this is the Woo Report. Let's go Devils.